Picture this. You wake up. Your hand reaches for your phone before your eyes fully open. You start scrolling. Just for a minute, you tell yourself. Then suddenly, somehow, hours have disappeared. The morning is gone. The day feels like it hasn't even started, yet you've consumed an endless stream of content. Where did the time go? In our modern world, technology promises to save us time, to connect us, to make life easier. But here's the strange twist. It often does the opposite. Instead of freeing our hours, it devours them. Instead of anchoring us in the present, it creates what we might call a digital time warp, a phenomenon that fragments our experience of now into countless scattered pieces. This brings us to a fascinating paradox at the heart of hyperconnected life. What if our constant online presence isn't just a habit, but actually functions like a form of unwitting time travel? What if every time we reach for our devices, we're pulled out of the present moment and hurled into a strange future? A future of likes yet to come, trends still unfolding, notifications not yet received. Meanwhile, the real now, the actual moment we're living in, quietly slips away unnoticed. Consider how this works. You're watching a beautiful sunset, but instead of simply experiencing it, you're already thinking about capturing it, filtering it, posting it, checking who responds. Your attention has time traveled forward to a future of approval and engagement, while the sunset itself, the colors, the air, the feeling, becomes secondary. The present moment gets traded for a future reaction. This raises a profound question worth sitting with. Is this digital acceleration inherently diminishing our authentic selves? Are we slowly transforming lived experiences into performative highlights, turning real life into content and genuine identity into curated persona? The concept of digital time travel isn't just poetic. It actually echoes real paradoxes from physics and philosophy. In theories of time travel, changing something in the past creates ripples that alter the future. Scientists call these causality paradoxes. Our digital habits create something similar: presence paradoxes. Think about it this way. When you post that sunset photo in real time, you've fundamentally changed the nature of the experience. The act of documenting for future consumption alters the present consumption. You're no longer fully in the moment because part of your attention has jumped ahead to imagine future responses. Will people like it? What caption should I write? How many reactions will this get? The moment itself gets robbed of its fullness. But how does this actually work in our brains and devices? Apps and platforms engineer infinite engagement with remarkable precision. Their algorithms function like time distortion fields, bending our perception of minutes and hours. The endless scroll design eliminates natural stopping points. There's no last page to reach, no clear ending that signals it's time to return to physical reality. Psychological research confirms this distortion. Studies on multitasking and attention switching show they fundamentally warp how we experience time passing. When your attention jumps rapidly between tasks, reading a text, checking email, scrolling a feed, watching a video, your brain struggles to create coherent memory markers. This makes time feel like it's moving faster, which explains that eerie sensation when you look up from your phone and can't account for the last 2 hours. Notifications function as what we might call wormholes, sudden ruptures in your current timeline that pull you into entirely different contexts. You're focused on work, then ping. A news alert drags you into world events. You're having dinner with family, then buzz. A social media notification transports you into a friend's vacation photos. You're reading a book, then ding. An email pulls you into tomorrow's obligations. Each interruption fractures your attention across multiple timelines at once. The data tells a striking story. Recent reports from 2025 show adults worldwide now spend nearly 7 hours daily on screens. Let that sink in for a moment. 7 hours. That's more than a quarter of each day. More than a full workday spent in digital spaces. Of those 7 hours, social media alone claims over 2 hours for the average person. This constant time warping takes a toll on something precious: our authentic selves. When attention fragments across timelines, past posts, future likes, others' updates, something essential starts to erode. Cognitive research reveals that constant switching between tasks and contexts doesn't just waste time, it fundamentally changes how our brains work. Studies show that this fragmentation reduces our capacity for empathy, because empathy requires sustained attention to understand another person's experience. It diminishes deep reflection, because reflection needs uninterrupted space to develop. It weakens our ability to think complexly about difficult topics, because complex thought demands holding multiple ideas simultaneously in working memory, something nearly impossible when notifications keep interrupting. Thinkers like Nicholas Carr have explored how internet habits reshape cognition itself. His research suggests we're moving away from deep, immersive reading and thinking toward rapid skimming across surfaces. We consume more information than any generation in history, but process less of it deeply. We're becoming what one researcher called pancake people, spread wide but thin, covering lots of ground but lacking depth. The platforms themselves amplify this fragmentation through performance pressure. Social media isn't designed for authenticity. It's designed for engagement. Filters smooth away imperfections. Edit functions let us craft perfect captions. Algorithms reward whatever generates reactions, not what's genuine. This creates a subtle but persistent push to prioritize idealized versions of ourselves over messy, complicated reality. The psychological effects are measurable and concerning. Multiple recent studies link heavy social media use to heightened anxiety and depression, especially among younger users. One particularly striking finding, the phenomenon called FOMO, fear of missing out, creates vicious cycles. You check your feed because you're anxious about missing something. Checking reveals everyone else seemingly living better lives. This triggers more anxiety and comparison, which drives more checking. The cycle perpetuates itself, pulling you further from your own present experience. Survey data from 2025 paints a troubling picture. Many heavy social media users report feeling disconnected from their true selves. They describe a sense of performing rather than living, curating rather than experiencing. Paradoxically, despite having more connections than ever, more followers, more friends, more contacts, rates of reported loneliness have increased. We're connected but not truly present with each other. Digital burnout affects over 60% of regular users recurrently, according to recent research. The symptoms mirror physical exhaustion, fatigue, irritability, reduced motivation, difficulty concentrating. But the cause isn't physical exertion, it's cognitive and emotional overload. Too many notifications, too many contexts to track, too many versions of ourselves to maintain across different platforms. Researchers have identified something called context collapse, when boundaries between different social spheres blur together online. Your family, friends, colleagues, acquaintances, and strangers all occupy the same digital space. This forces you to present a single version of yourself that somehow works for all audiences simultaneously, which is exhausting and fundamentally inauthentic. In physical life, you naturally shift how you present yourself in different contexts. Online, those contexts collapse into one, creating constant tension. The effects ripple outward into relationships and creativity. Face-to-face conversations suffer when phones sit on tables, creating what researchers call the mere presence effect. Just having a phone visible reduces connection quality, even if it never rings. Creative thinking declines when we're constantly consuming algorithm-fed content rather than generating original thoughts. Boredom, that uncomfortable space where creativity often emerges, becomes increasingly rare. Now, here's where we need to pause and acknowledge something important. Not all digital immersion causes harm. This isn't a simple story of technology bad, analog good. The same tools that fragment attention also foster genuine connections across vast distances. They allow elderly parents to see grandchildren's faces via video call. They let dispersed friends maintain relationships that geography would otherwise end. They enable rapid knowledge sharing. You can learn almost anything, instantly, from experts worldwide. They create spaces for marginalized communities to find each other and build support networks that physical proximity never allowed. Technology also permits multifaceted expression of identity in ways that can actually expand authenticity rather than diminish it. People can explore aspects of themselves that local culture might suppress. They can experiment with creative work and share it with audiences they'd never reach otherwise. They can access mental health resources, educational content, and communities of practice that enrich rather than deplete. Optimists highlight how intentional use transforms these tools from time wasters into life enhancers. The digital minimalism movement, for example, suggests technology works best when we're highly selective, choosing specific tools for specific purposes that genuinely align with our values, rather than passively consuming everything available. So the question isn't really whether technology is good or bad. That's too simple. The real question is about balance, intention, and awareness. When does connection enhance presence? And when does it fragment it? When do digital tools amplify our authentic selves? And when do they demand we perform curated versions instead? The answer seems to lie in excess and mindlessness. A video call with a distant loved one can deepen connection, but mindlessly scrolling feeds for hours fragments it. Using a meditation app intentionally can support well-being, but compulsively checking notifications destroys the very peace sought. The time warp intensifies when use becomes unconscious. When we reach for phones without choosing to. When we scroll without purpose. When we document experiences while barely experiencing them. This is where the paradox sustains itself, where future orientation overwhelms present moment awareness. Yet this also means the warp isn't inevitable destiny. Recognition creates possibility for change. So what might reclaiming presence actually look like in practical terms? The most effective approaches tend to be structural rather than willpower-based. Willpower depletes quickly against algorithms designed by teams of engineers, specifically to be addictive. But structural changes, systems that make presence the path of least resistance, can succeed where pure determination fails. Consider scheduling offline blocks into your day, not as deprivation, but as protection of something valuable. Perhaps mornings before a certain hour remain phone-free, letting you ease into the day from your own internal rhythm, rather than immediately absorbing others' priorities. Or evenings after dinner become device-free zones, creating space for conversation, reading, or simply sitting with your own thoughts. Curating feeds intentionally shifts consumption from passive to active. Unfollow accounts that trigger comparison or anxiety, regardless of whether you should follow them. Mute keywords that pull you into stressful news spirals. Subscribe only to creators or sources that genuinely enrich your thinking or life. This isn't about creating an echo chamber, but about being deliberate regarding what gets regular access to your attention. Embracing analog activities rebuilds presence muscles that atrophy from disuse. Walking without earbuds lets environmental sounds anchor you in physical space. Journaling by hand slows thought to the speed of pen on paper, creating room for reflection impossible at typing speed. Cooking a meal with full attention transforms mundane tasks into meditation on textures, scents, processes. Physical books offer something screens cannot: natural endpoints. A chapter concludes. You close the cover. Your attention releases completely rather than being immediately redirected to suggested articles, autoplay videos, or refresh buttons. The boundary between reading and not reading is clear, which helps you return to presence rather than remaining in continuous partial attention. Some people find designated spaces helpful, specific rooms or areas where devices don't go. Not everywhere needs to be accessible to the digital world. A bedroom kept phone-free protects sleep from blue light and late-night scrolling. A reading chair positioned away from charging cables creates physical distance that makes distraction harder. The key principle underlying all these approaches: technology should serve as tool, not master. Tools get picked up for specific purposes and put down when the purpose concludes. Masters demand constant attention and obedience. Shifting this relationship requires conscious effort in a culture designed to keep us perpetually accessible and available. One particularly powerful practice: noticing the urge to reach for your phone before actually reaching. What triggered that urge? Boredom? Anxiety? Habit? Simply observing the impulse without immediately acting on it creates a small gap, a moment of choice, where previously there was only automaticity. Over time, these small gaps expand, returning agency to actions that had become reflexive. We've traveled together through a landscape of fragmented attention and digital time warps, examining how constant online presence can function as unwitting time travel that pulls us from the present into an imagined future of notifications and approval. We've seen the science behind this phenomenon, how algorithms distort time perception, how notifications create wormholes between contexts, how multitasking fragments our cognitive experience. We've looked honestly at the toll: eroded authenticity, increased anxiety, the paradox of connection without presence, creative thinking displaced by content consumption. We've also held space for nuance, acknowledging that these same technologies enable genuine goods, distant connection, rapid learning, expanded expression, community building for those who might otherwise remain isolated. But perhaps the most important insight is this: the digital time warp isn't inevitable destiny. It's a pattern we can recognize, question, and reshape. Every moment offers a choice, though we rarely notice the choosing. When your hand reaches for your phone, that's a choice point. When you feel the urge to photograph rather than experience, that's a choice point. When a notification pulls you from conversation, that's a choice point. Most pass unconsciously, but they don't have to. What if we approached our devices not as masters demanding constant attendance, but as tools selected intentionally for specific purposes? What if we protected our attention as the precious, finite resource it actually is? What if we allowed ourselves to be bored sometimes, to sit in silence sometimes, to experience moments without documenting them? The present moment is all we truly have. The past is memory. The future is imagination. Only now is real, is lived, is experienced. Every hour spent in digital time warp is an hour of life we don't get back. Not as guilt or shame, but as simple fact worth considering. This isn't about abandoning technology or returning to some imagined simpler past. It's about relationship, consciously choosing how these powerful tools fit into lives oriented toward presence, authenticity, and genuine connection. The paradox of our hyper-connected age is that we can be more isolated than ever while never being alone, more distracted than ever while having infinite information, more fragmented than ever while being constantly connected. But paradoxes contain within them the seeds of their own resolution. Recognition is the first step. Intention is the second. Action is the third. So consider: what strategies help ground you in the present? What practices protect your attention from infinite fragmentation? How might you reclaim moments of genuine experience from the pull of digital time travel? These aren't rhetorical questions. They're invitations to reflection, to experiment, to discover what authentic presence means for you, specifically in this particular moment of history. If this exploration resonated, share your thoughts in the comments below. What has your experience been with digital time warps? What approaches have you found helpful for maintaining presence? The future isn't written, but the present is always arriving, always offering itself. The question is simply, will we be there to meet it? Thanks for watching. Cheers. Don't forget to like and subscribe.